everybody. Welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie, Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie, Jessica.
So today is another one of our Convincing My Bestie to Read videos. And so today I'm going to be convincing Mandy to read shifter or vampire romances. I love how she just goes, like, here I am. We put this out as a poll on our community page, and you guys chose this as the topic. So here we go. The other two kind of came in close second, so we will do them at some other point in time because trust me, I've got those listed. Thank you guys, those of you who voted, so much. It was so much fun. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We are still doing our Road to 1K giveaway, and we are still giving away fun prizes as we try to hit that next mark in our climb to 1,000. So here we go. All right, are you ready?
I'm sending a strong message right now.
Oh, for crying out loud. You know what? I read YA for you. Okay. So I chose 3 vampire, 3 shifter. I did want to say, though, before we get started, if you're really looking for the vampire shifter, this is what should be read. From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. It actually has both. We're not going to talk about this one today, but for those of you out there, if you haven't read this, it has it. Read it. Okay, so.
Okay, I'm ready. Got my pen.
So I have 6.
Taking notes.
Okay, the first one you're going to be happy with because it's K. Webster. It's not very long, but this is Bond Deeper Than Blood by K. Webster. So this is the story. So just so you know,
done.
I know you need to know. What? Done. This is Forbidden Age Gap Stepdad. All right?
Done.
Done. She's all like, I'm in. So this is about Castilla or Castilla. It's hard. I have no clue how they say her name. But when she was young, she watched her family be murdered by a pair of vampire twins. And her stepfather was turned. And so she watched all of this happen before her eyes. And so we fast forward many years later when she is a young adult. And she has now become a vampire hunter. And her mission is to get revenge for her family and to put her stepdad out of his misery. Because she knows he's a vampire out there somewhere. But when she crosses paths with him again, he's not as miserable as she thought. And there's feelings there. And it goes from there. So definitely taboo. Definitely vampire. She's a vampire hunter. He's the vampire. I read it camping. I enjoyed it a lot when I was reading it. So, you know. So that's the first one. The second vampire romance. And this is actually a part of a trilogy. But there's different couples in each one, but you do need to read them in order. But this is by Kristen Ashley. This is When the Sun Falls from the Sky. This one, so the first one is vampire. The second one is werewolf or shifter, not werewolf, shifter. And then the third is a vampire wolf hybrid. So definitely this whole series is vampires and shifters. But this one is about Lucian and Leah. So in this world, Lucian is the vampire. And the vampires take in concubines, and they only take them for a short period of time. There's a council that has all of these rules that they have to stick by. They can only have them for so long. They can't make them like their mates. They can't make them they can't bond with them forever. When they drink from someone, they actually live longer. And I mean, it's not a forever thing, but they live longer. If they continue to drink from them all the time, then they can live forever like the vampire does. But they're only allowed to do so much with them because of this council. So Lucian has been waiting for Leah for 20 years. She's a part of this bloodline, these women who have always been concubines for different vampires. And so she knows it's expected of her because it's a part of her family and what she's supposed to do. And so they have this big party every year when the new concubine-ish people are chosen. And she's at it with her mother and whatever. And he sees her and he's like, yeah, I've been watching her for 20 years. Everybody knows that she belongs to Lucian. And he takes her as his concubine. She's not very happy about it. She is an older heroine. She is in her 30s because she wanted to live her life before she did this. And so when they get together, Lucian decides he's going to screw the council. He wants to keep her. He wants to do what he can with her. And so he basically kind of starts a war because it needs to be changed and he wants to keep his woman. The second book is called With Everything I Am, and I can't remember what the third book is called, but With Everything I Am, the second one, which is the Wolf Shifter, that's my favorite. They go to Scotland in that one. I love that one. So that one is the second. my timer went off apparently. So, so just so you know too, Bound by Blood, or Bond Deeper Than Blood, the Kate Webster book does not have audio. This one, Until the Sun Falls from the Sky, does have audio. This next one, I know that this is not going to be up your alley, but we're going to talk about it anyway. So this is Newly Undead in Dark River by Grace McGinty. Mandy knows I love Grace McGinty. Part of the reason why I love it is because she's hilarious. These books are dark. I mean, check triggers for all these books. They're dark books, but Grace has this way of just making it fun and funny. She's just, the one-liners that woman comes up with just blows me away. So this is about Micah. She is backpacking through Canada, and she wakes up in like a storm drain in a drainage ditch and has no memory of what happened to her at all. Like all of her things are missing. And when she looks up, like there's like this sign that says, welcome to Dark River. And so she stumbles into Dark River feeling like death. And when she walks into a diner in the middle of the night to try and get help, apparently she looks like death. And she's very, very, very thirsty, but not for water at this point. And she cannot figure out what's going on. This whole town is a bunch of vampires. This is a Why Choose romance, so there's more than one guy in here. But the whole town is vampires, but there's rules. Like they're not allowed to drink from humans. They're not allowed to turn people. They're not allowed to kill humans. And so there's this question of who turned her? Why did they turn her? What happened? Where is that person? So you're trying to solve that mystery. She gets taken in by the town sheriff, aka the hottie. And there's a few other guys that show up along the way. Her best friend shows up. We also have some shifters in this book as well, too, that are not necessarily wolf. There's some wolf. There's some other weird ones. But this one, I love Grace's writing. She makes me laugh. The woman, she's just got the sass. It's great. But when she gets there, she's also has to cut off, because she's been made into a vampire, she has to cut off all communication with her family. So that's really hard. It's a hard thing to go through. So there's that one. Let's talk shifters. Okay, one of my favorite shifter books. Look at you just getting all excited over there.
I know.
Uh-huh. One of my absolute favorite shifter books is this one. You've seen me talk about it before. It's Wild by Dee Dee Prince. So this is about Tyson and Ivy. So Ivy has had the trip from hell, and she's just trying to get out of the wilderness and head home. And along the way, she hits a wolf or a big beast in the road. She's not really sure what it is. And it turns out to be Tyson. He's a wolf shifter. And he's been raised by a family member. We're not sure what happened to his parents. He's not even sure. It was his uncle, I believe, that raised him. And he's been raised away from the rest of the pack, away from his family. And so he's been raised pretty much wild, like out in the wild. He spent many years in his wolf form. And so he doesn't talk much. He's very barbaric in some of his actions. And so when he sees Ivy, he smelled her. That's his mate, and he knows it's his mate. And so he's gonna take her. And he takes her to his cabin, and he's gonna keep her. And so this actually sets up the third book is not quite out in this yet. They're different couples in each, but we get to see some of the other wolf, like he makes contact with the pack, and we find out what happened to his parents, and we find out why he's there and all of this good stuff. But this one was hot. I mean, hot, like alpha possessive. I'm taking her. She's mine. Gotta respect that. At least I do. So the next book I have is Cold Hearted. It's by Heather Guerre. This is about Grace and Caleb. So Grace is trying to escape a really bad situation, and she flees to Alaska. And she flees to a very tiny town. Now, this is, you guys know, if you've watched any of our videos, I am very picky about Alaska. Heather did it right, 100%. So she travels to a remote village in Alaska and takes a job as a teacher. One of my favorite things about this book is the surnames that she gives the families in this remote Alaskan village. They're very much Alaskan surnames. They're what you'd see. What are you laughing for? I'm so picky.
You're just like, just keep talking. It's just funny how worked up you get about Alaska.
I do. Oh, okay. Let's not pick on me for my weird Alaska things.
I'm gonna start getting worked up when they don't write Ohio right.
Why? You have no connection to Ohio.
Just because it was the like,
First state that popped into your head.
yeah.
It would make more sense if you got upset if they didn't write Washington right. You know, that's where you've lived. Anyhow, so she's in this remote village. It's a very close knit village, and so when she gets there, she meets Caleb, and Caleb is our surly, in a bad mood all the time, gruff guy. They don't get along right away. It's definitely kind of an enemies to lovers situation, kind of. But she can tell something's a little odd. Like the town's very cliquish, and there's something that she's missing in this town. Like, what is happening here? And so this is her trying to figure that out. I do love, there's a point where her and Caleb go like on a prank war together between the two of them. Hilarious. I thought it was great, but there's a lot of back and forth between the two of them. It is somewhat of a slow burn. There is a situation where she gets like snowed in at one point in her vehicle, and I'm like, yep, you shouldn't have done that, lady. So this one was very, very good. There's more to meet the eye, and this was the first in a series that has set up. I read the second book, but I have not read the third book in the series. And then our very last book.
Oh, sorry.
I'm yawning.
I'm sorry.
Not yawning books.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So this one is, let's do this way. The Tyrant Alpha's Rejected Mate by Cate. Wells. This is also the start of a series, which is really good. I love shifter books, but they are often corny and done weird, and it's really hard to find a good one. This is a really good one. So this is a Rejected Mate book. I have tried to find another Rejected Mate book, and I cannot find one that's as good as this one. They're horrible. Okay, so this is about Una. Una had something happen to her when she was young, and so she walks with a limp. And so she and the main male character, Killian, are both shifters. They live in a shifter community. They're both wolf shifters. Now she, because she has this limp, she's seen as like damaged. And so she and some of the other unmateable females all live together, and they work for, like, they work in the kitchens and stuff because they eat as a big community. And so she works at serving, which is really hard because she has this limp where she's almost like dragging her leg behind her. Because of that, her wolf has never come out. It's a latent wolf situation. And so one day she's serving these people and the community. They're in the big hall, dining hall. And Killian is the leader of their group. He is the alpha. And her wolf decides to come out all of a sudden, and it decides that Killian is her mate. Killian, who has, the blonde bimbo or whatever, the girl all over him at that point in time, decides, no, this isn't going to happen. The girl who has the limp, who's the rejected person, is not going to be my mate. I'm not going to. He rejects her. And so she has to, she ends up being found by somebody. It hurts her. It physically hurts her when it happens. It's a bad thing. But then after a while, he starts to realize there's a connection between them. There's something about her. And oh my goodness, the grovel. 90% of this book is this man groveling because she is not going to take him back. She has a backbone. She will not be hurt again. There's a lot of things that go on. Like, there's a lot of rules in this community where the women aren't allowed to drive. They're not allowed to do things, but she does it. Like, they go back behind their backs and they make money. This group of girls, they do a lot of things that the alphas, like, they would get in trouble for because they've got backbones and they're not just going to sit around and pant over the alpha because that is not their job. This one is just one of my favorites because she's just, yeah. She has backbone. Now, I do have to say, just so everybody knows, I know we voted on this. There are other shifter books that are not wolf shifter. We can do that at another time, but I wanted to give just wolf shifter for these ones. Mandy, I know this is going to be a hard one for you.
Okay, well, the two that sound the most interesting would be Kay Webster's Bond Deeper Than Blood. And the second one you talked about, Kristen Ashley's Until the Sun Falls from the Sky.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm just really not, I don't know if I can get into a shifter book.
Yeah, but you are totally, you are into True Blood and stuff. You should be able to get into a vampire book.
Yes.
Hopefully.
I did really like True Blood and like Twilight. Mm-hmm. And the Vampire Diaries. Like, I liked all those.
Yeah, I think that you'd like Until the Sun Falls from the Sky a lot just because that one has it's more in depth.
Mm-hmm.
But we both love Kay Webster. So
I know. So it's a toss up between the two of those, but I was thinking because I'm already really familiar with Kay Webster, I'm going to branch out and read Until the Sun Falls from the Sky. I will probably still read Kay Webster's book because I'm just working my way through all of Kay Webster's books anyway. So eventually I would get to that one. So
yeah. Well, and you know that some of my all-time favorite book ever is written by Kristen Ashley. So I'm excited that you're going to be reading Kristen Ashley.
What's your all-time favorite book by her?
The Golden Dynasty is written by her.
Oh, I didn't even put that together, Jessica, that it was
so,
the same.
Yeah, because when I was trying to find a book similar, which it's not similar, but
everybody they don't sound anything alike.
It's not similar, but people were like, oh, if you liked the Fantastical series, you have to read this series. And so that's how I found that series as well. So yay. All right, so let's check in as you're reading and we'll see how you like it. So Mandy, you finished reading.
I did.
Tell me what you thought.
All right. So at first I was like, oh, a vampire book. Okay, I can do this. And then I saw how long it was and I'm like, oh, maybe I should have gone with the Kay Webster one. Yep. But I really wanted to use this as an experience to like branch out. Like I already know that I'm probably going to love Kay Webster's books. But I am so glad I did. I absolutely love this. And it was a 5-star read for me.
Yay!
I loved it. I found myself very invested in their relationship. And then there's things that are happening at the end. And I'm like, there's no way they're going to have this wrapped up. What's going to happen? And so now I definitely want to go read books 2 and 3 and find out how this whole situation resolves. But I really, really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Good.
I mean, it's kind of like when you just think about what the book is about, it's kind of funny. To like be like, okay, so because of who she is, she's now going to be selected, also known as forced, to be Lucian's concubine. And then she has like these weird feelings about it. Like she's really not wanting to do it, but she also doesn't like that he has another life. And at the very beginning of the book, so I really don't feel like this is a spoiler, we find out he has a mate. And I was like ready to call you and like chew you out. I'm like, he has a mate? What the bleep? Is Jessica having me read? But that you quickly kind of figure out what's going on. Also, it's interesting to note that Leia is 40 and Lucian is 800.
Yes. You know, I know that's quite the age gap, but it would be way worse if she was 18.
You totally should have marketed this to me as an age gap.
I should have. I do like that she was an older heroine in this book because she'd put off going through the selection because she wanted to have a life before that. And so she is an older heroine, and I do like that. And by older, I mean extremely young still. At 40. I
know. I mean, for some of us, Jessica,
leave me alone.
We need to be more concerned about our age when we're throwing numbers around like that.
I should be careful and not say anything. Yes, but I did like having someone who wasn't 18, you know, which is great.
So for the person who was not really excited about what Jessica was convincing me to read, you did a fantastic job. I love the book.
Yay, I'm so glad. Okay, so now it'll be Mandy's turn to convince me to read something here in a week or so, right? So yay, let's see if she's going to torture me with something again.
I already know what you're going to do to me probably next, so.
You have no idea what I'm going to do to you next.
I feel like reverse harem is coming.
I didn't want to torture you quite yet with that. But I did enjoy putting it in our community tab and having people like choose and vote on the top 3 things that I was thinking about. Maybe we'll do that again. So thank you to everybody who voted for that. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button because we are still doing our Road to 1K giveaway.
Yes. And make sure to check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for more videos from us.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next video.